But I say that to say I was talking to this young brother. He's 24. I went to Knots,
Okay.
and I was like, man, I'm old.
Thank you for checking out the Boys Quarter podcast, where we are in the compound, but we don't belong in the main house. We're available, so feel free to go and check us out on all the audio platforms. But since you are here, please do click the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Let's get into this content.
And he was, talking to me about, law, and I was like, what's it like for a black kid? And he was like, you have to be different from other black people. So you go into these, law firms trying to get an internship, and you ask yourself, what are they going to see that's different from the other two black people that are here? Because they're only hiring two of us, and the rest, they're only hiring three of us, then four Asians, and the rest is white. So how am I going to be different from three black people who they don't really see anything different? I'm going to just flip a coin. Marcus, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's that kind of vibe. And so when you ask me why don't black people protest in that manner or that, you have to understand black people don't feel part of this nation. We don't feel that we're in this nation. We don't feel like they represent they're excited about our future. So when politics and stuff like that, we just feel like, it's not really our concern. Because white people gonna be all right. They're gonna look after their country. Do you see what I'm saying? So we have that mentality. We're more focused on homes and trying to figure out how to maybe, get a spot in Africa popping or travel around the world. Nigerians in this country are still moving to Dubai.
Yeah, I've said it quite clear that I want to do that as well. But I'm saying if I saw more of us saying, look, this ain't working for me, I'm willing to pick the lock and come through blasting on in terms of moving to Dubai or in terms of setting up my own business or whatever it is. I'm saying that's great. And the people that do it, that's great. But like I think when you save up all of your working class frustration and take it out on the security guard at the WizKid concert, I'm just saying it's misguided and it's weird that's the place that you would choose.
That's just collateral damage, and that's because that's the story that gets hyped up the most. More people from a working class background better themselves than the people who just want to, be ignorant at a football game. Do you know what I mean? It's just that story.
I personally, I wouldn't even put it on working class, but it's because you said working class, and that's what made me ask.
When I say working class, I mean when you grew up in the people that did that rush that. I wouldn't rush a WizKid concert. No, never. I would never have done that because I was raised to say me and the men can save money for that. Do you see what I'm saying? However, Equinox New Year's Eve party, I went through the back door.
Went through the back, or someone snuck you in, or you just?
No. We went to Equinox. I'm sorry, it was a Kojo. Kojo was having a party at Equinox. We didn't get tickets, and so my bedroom was in there. So we called him to open the back door. So he opened the back door, which is on Tottenham on the other side of the whole club. Yeah. And so I just ran down the whole flight of stairs and went for the back door. But the security clocked. But I went straight to one girl, just started talking to her like I've been there all the time. Hey, I don't know who this girl is, where she's today, but she gave me the best play along. It was like, hey, I was like, yeah.
I love it, man.
But what I'm saying is, I've been part of that. I've been around those people who will jump over the turnstiles because there's no tickets, because they don't have tickets. And Tupac even said that, jumping over turnstiles because we ain't paying. Calling cuties cuss words, but we only playing.
I mean, to be honest, there's a funny video that's been going viral this week of just some boy that clearly ran on the pitch at a football game and grabbed one of the balls, and he's running back and the stewards are chasing him, but everybody in the crowd basically backs it for the boy. He throws the ball over and hops over, and they basically quickly grab him in and get him away with the ball. And everybody was back in it. And
I understand. There's a level of camaraderie in those moments.
Yeah.
It's always for the underdog. They're always rooting for the guy that can break the system. That's why when you see a streaker on the pitch and the stewards can't catch him, it's hilarious for them.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's like, hey! I remember I asked my friend, would you streak across a football pitch for 100 grand? She was like, no, I couldn't do that. I said, 100 grand? She said, nah, I couldn't do that. And then, I asked a couple of the men, and one guy was like, I know white people that will do it for a dare. This is him for 100 grand. I stick a flag in my ass.
Hey, these men were sticking flares in their ass for England for free.
Bro. So when people say to you, would you streak across it for 100 grand? You're like, nah, I got too much pride. Then you hear someone did it for a pint later at the pub.
They'll probably look at you like it's a fair trade as well. They'll be like, hey, but you're buying the first round if I do
Imagine
this.
that. Imagine that. And
Wow.
you know what it is as well? I feel like people see those people who rush to stadiums or do that ignorant stuff as bad. As you know, some of them are. you know what? They're not even, here's the thing. Think about it. The true dons, the true gangsters, the true goons, they're not rushing. They've got the box.
Of course. Yeah.
Put the box out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they're not going to do that. It's the knuckleheads. It's the, the strong-headed people that are like, you know what? It's on. And yeah, I know what you're saying in the sense where, people always say, why don't you channel that energy to this and that? But life is not linear. Life is not a straightforward thinking process.
You're right.
About as they approach you, not necessarily as you approach them.
Yeah.
So that's why, it's important to always be thankful for your position. Do you know how mad it is that we didn't grow up in a narcos country? We didn't grow up in Tijuana, Sinaloa in Mexico, where everybody and their mom was going to have to sell drugs, whether you liked it or not. We didn't have those problems.
Yeah.
A crazy drug lord could just blow up our street because he's pissed off. Or your whole family could get killed because you lost a pack. You see what I'm saying? We didn't grow up in those pressures. We didn't grow up in the crack epidemic. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you're right.
No,
I think that's more the reason to behave in a way that shows that you're more grateful. That's why I look at it that way round. And rather than see in terms of what I didn't grow up with and take that frustration to the world, I think there's a lot of gratitude that it could have been worse.
Yeah, but you can always see the world from your position, but it's only from your understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So for a nigga who's going to rob a bank, you have to understand where he's at in life. He's at the end, bro.
I don't think all of them are at the end. I think some of them just looked at somebody working hard and said, "Nah, I don't like that."
I don't think so. No, it's desperation. It's desperate. It's complete.
You think every bank robber is desperate?
No, not every bank. Some are skilled bank robbers. But here's the thing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. For a skilled bank robber,
you can tell when someone's desperate and just it's just life is done, and you can tell when someone has figured a way to cheat the system.
Yeah.
When you're a skilled bank robber, you don't kill people because police heat will be more if there's bodies.
Yeah.
Understand? But when you see a motherfucker run into a bank and spray everybody, it's like, yeah, this nigga's desperate. You didn't case, you didn't check the cameras, you don't left shells. You know what I mean? They come to your house, the money's right. One guy robbed a bank here, and they didn't know about the red dye on the packs.
Yeah.
Right? So they stole all the money. The packs explode after a timer and stains all the money. This nigga still trying to buy shit
with the stained money.
The red dye pack.
Hey, if you own the shop, someone comes in to buy something and the money's got a little red stain on it. Are you snitching or are you gonna be like?
Why would I snitch for a shop? Why?
Because that's the whole point in the red pack.
Yeah, but why would I snitch for a shop? Why? Am I on FBI wages?
No, but I'm saying the whole point is the reason why they do it. It's a signal.
I'll just say I can't take this money. It's stained. You think I'm gonna call the police and say? Then we're going to call the police and say, I think I found... Fuck that. Listen, my friend, when my friend used to work in Sainsbury's, he'd be like, he'd see people trying to steal and all of that, and he'd be like, okay, you don't have to front here, bro. Just do your thing. I know that's not your car. Who cares? You think Sainsbury's cares about my life? When I used to work in a phone shop, people used to steal the phones, the dummy phones. And people run in and run out. I'm like, bro, you could have just let me know. I'd have just giving it to you.
Wait, do those dummy phones even work?
No, but you can sell them because they look like real phones. And by the time we sold it to an idiot or a crackhead, they've lost it.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I think people underestimate how painful life is, how real life is. You'll never know how real life is until when you wake up, when you go to work at 9 o'clock in the morning and a woman comes in strung out on alcohol, talking about her phone's not working. She's so strung out, she's reeking of alcohol, or whoever it is, you don't even want to touch their hand.
Yeah.
And all you can think of is your immediate defensiveness is like, what the fuck, man? But if you're really deep, you have to ask yourself, how? How is she like this at 9 o'clock in the morning, bro?
Yeah. I hear you, man. I hear you.
You know, I saw a kid. He came into my store to buy a phone. I think I've told you this story. 18-year-old kid, Nigerian. And I gave him game because he was trying to get a contract. I was like, bro, you're 18, man. You just barely passed a credit check. They're giving you a minimum tariff thing to see if you can manage his phone. I don't think you're in a position right now to manage a phone. You said you don't have a job. I understand you and your girlfriend want to communicate, but you don't want to fuck up your credit. If you can't pay the bills, they will want their money. And you know the maddest thing, the kid listened.
Wow.
More time I heard him, I'm making my iPhone 7, rude boy. You know, all right, fair enough. But he was like, nah, all right, cool. I saw this kid lose his mind. Lives in Hackney. I would see him at the barbershop, cool. Then all of a sudden, I started to notice he wasn't cutting his hair.
Yeah.
He wasn't keeping it well.
Yeah.
And then he just started deteriorating. His mental health just dropped to the point where I saw him one time and I could just tell he's lost his mind.
Maybe it's because he didn't get the iPhone.
No, man, you're old. That's not even funny. That's not even funny. That's not even funny.
Oh, forgive me.
That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. You're the worst part. That's some shit I would say. Which
I know. That's what I'm saying. How you gonna judge me?
I'm waiting for the worst. I'm waiting for the right time to throw in a curveball. You know, just because you didn't give him the credit. Nah.
Yeah. Hey, but you laid that one up, man. You was like, yo, I told him not to. He listened, man. And then he ran mad. I'm like, what do you mean?
No, he didn't run mad because of that. It just over time, I saw it. I just kept on seeing it. I think what bugged me the most was I didn't know what to do. I didn't know. I kept on saying to him, you good? You good? He's like, yeah. And I knew he wasn't good. But I didn't know how to reach out. I didn't know how to. I just prayed, that God would, protect his sanity. But the truth is, I'm not equipped to handle that. And to get involved in it, I guess, was scary as well because, I don't know, man. I just said all that to say, I think Scarface said, life without a focus, a man without a focus, life can drive him insane.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the truth about life. A lot of us were keeping it, by the grace of God, we're keeping it together. You know? I'm sure there's points in your life where you thought, I'm losing it.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And that was scary.
Said I'm losing my mind.
Losing my mind. That's the quote today, babe. I'm going crazy. Niggas can't fake me.
On the real accuse, and that's the thing you fucking agree.
No, Tupac's entrance onto that song. Oh my god! The first time I heard that, I was like, "What?" He's got an original version of the song.
Okay.
But, what's his intro again? Mama keep praying for a young motherfucker trying to duck under the grave in the city when you came to the snakes from the phonies. Enemies are homies. I'm around the corner. There's another nigga waiting to jack. He didn't know I got a Glock till his ass gets shot. He goes, what's up with bitches trying to screw me? Do me because I need the movie, throw the pussy to me, but before
pussy!
Yeah. I'm a dad, they put me for a buster. He said, let me move you fool you, let me screw you, screaming thug life, nigga.
Nigga I do, yeah.
Yeah, man. So yeah, life can life is a lot, man, and people
I get you, bro. I understand, and trust me, I'm very empathetic towards those who are definitely on the edge. I don't pretend that I understand everybody's situation, but I know what it is to feel like there's no hope, or what it is to be like, do you know what? Screw the system. It's not even trying to help me. So why should I play by the rules? I get all of that. My only point was just simply like, after you feel like that, it's where you take that really matters. And for some reason, we take it to JD Sports and McDonald's.
And that's why I don't agree. We don't take it to JD Sports.
No, there's a reason why I'm saying that. I'm saying that in terms of like when the riots kicked off, people went to go loot JD Sports, and there was like, I heard one story. Her brothers jumped over the counters at McDonald's, started making their own special burgers.
That's a lie.
I think it's true. I think it's true, but I'm like, yo, they could pay you £6.70 an hour to do that.
That's the sensation of the stories. Oh, man jumped into jail and we're trying on sneakers. No, they weren't. You ever been to a looting riot? Nigga, you in and out. Anybody got time to making burgers?
The people are hanging out though. Them riots after Mark Duggan, people are hanging out. Girls were posted up like it was a rave.
What's wrong with looting a store during a riot?
I'm saying that where we take that energy to is often misguided. And so that's all I was trying to get to in the overall point, was just that we take the energy to the weirdest places.
Is it misguided though? Because JD are insured, so which means insurance companies will have to pay out for all the damages. The government has to pay out for the damages left after a riot. So is it misguided? Because they have to put the bill.
I'm saying, all right, cool. You're gonna loot.
And plus, they also end up in jail. If you loot a store and you get caught on the camera and all of that, look how many people went to jail for Mark Duggan's looting, and the police who shot the man didn't even get charged.
Yeah, I know that.
When you say it's misguided,
so that's proof that it's misguided, though. Now you're in jail because of some trainers.
No, yeah, fair enough, but there's no way they could have channeled that energy where it would have been guided. There's no right way, and that's what I was trying to explain.
There is no right way.
There's no right way of handling your oppression. No right way. It is what it is. There's no right way of dealing with racism. If someone's racist and I spit in his face, that's just the way it is. For me, someone else could have been like this. You know what? Fair enough. N-word. I'm just gonna walk off. I'm a better man than you, and that's how he deals with it. But he's not right. That's just how he dealt with it. If you say some shit to me, I might choke you to death. Why would you think, oh my God, that's not the right way to deal with racism? Why would you? You don't know who I am. I could have been a psycho killer all my life. So the idea that there's this right way to deal with these things, no, there's no right way. You just do what you do. What is the right way? Voting? Getting an MP in office? What is the right way?
I mean, I'm not going to be as glib as to say it's as simple as voting or whatever it is, but I do think that every time that we're faced with a problem, we're faced with constructive options and destructive options.
And they both want the same, and they both help move the movement forward. For every lobbyist, you need someone that's going to create anarchy. Because they're both one in the same. It's a different approach, but they're one in the same. Okay,
but what I'm saying is, we don't have anywhere near as many constructive people as we have destructive people. In terms of, if we need, for example, here's an example, right? So, let's say, in my household, everybody is upset because, there's just not enough heating in the house. It's too cold, right? If my daughter gets upset and starts smashing plates or whatever, or she starts, she goes into a tantrum saying, "Dad, turn the heating up. I want heating." Blah blah blah. And she goes and smashes a whole bunch of things, and my son goes, "Well, do you know what? Actually, I think we had some indoor heater. Let's try and get an indoor heater in. It's not proper heating, but we'll do that." Between the two of them, and I'm not trying to put this on them as individuals, I'm just using them as an example. One of them has chosen a destructive option, which may get my attention or may not get my attention to try and get the problem solved. But the other one has chosen to try and find a solution, and that's a much more constructive approach. I'm saying when we are faced with these situations, we have many opportunities to divest from the system, to move, to go somewhere else, or to stay here and, build our own thing. And we see people do it. We see some people attain a certain amount of success. And yet, there's so many of us that feel like, getting to the WizKid concert and pushing through is a reasonable place to let out your general frustration with the world.
You get caught in that world of judging the minority or the negative of what one section of Black people do to blanket all of us as we are not doing something.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying we can see there are some amongst us who are doing things, and yet there are some amongst us.
What's wrong with that though? Why are you concerned with what they're doing? That's the world. You can see white people were covered in glory throughout the Euros tournament, but still people were stumbling the capital. Still people were doing ignorant shit. Do you think white people care about that? Was there a big hole? We see people. No, they don't. They don't give two shits. How many of them were in trouble? How many papers did you see the headline, disgraced country from all of this? Nothing.
I saw quite
it was
a lot.
Glory to the boys. If it was the alternative. Here's the thing: in this country, they have the opposing and the thingy for their bullshit. So when the Daily Mail and the Express and the snobby papers want to shit on the working class, they will highlight those incidents. But the Sun and the Mirror and that, come on our board, we're proud of our nation. The problem with black people or being a black person is, doesn't matter what we do in terms of success. All it takes is one incident of ignorance, and we are all back to square one.
No, that's true, but that's not what I'm talking about.
And also, you said about heat in your house. How long was the heat out for your house? How long?
It's a hypothetical example.
Right, but and when you say it's a hypothetical, put it into the practical. When you see black people behaving how they behave today, it's not this morning, it's not this weekend, it's not this year. It's consistently for 50 to 60 to 100 years of still dealing with madness. So when you get some people acting out, well, that's just what life brings. But we can't keep taking those isolated incidents, no matter how much they be, and create a whole narrative of what we're not moving. Because believe it or not, we are.
It's not about the narrative of us not moving, because I definitely made it very clear that I see people amongst us take the constructive approach. How many people
stormed the concert yesterday? How many people?
I don't know. I didn't count it, but the video looked like it could have been maybe 100 people.
And how many people were at the concert?
I don't know, like 17,000.
17,000 people, and we want to talk about 100 people that tried to sneak in. Seriously.
But that's not the number.
That's the black narrative. No matter what we do, 17,000, and I didn't hear one person who didn't have a good night. But all we want to do is highlight our ignorance. I'm just over that.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily the case here. I think I discussed all the wonderful things about the evening, but I think we should be able to take a look at ourselves without throwing our hands up in the air and say,
you don't even know the people that stormed. What's ourselves?
Wait. Let me land. Can I land?
No,
can I land this
one? I keep telling you, we're not a team, bro. You don't have to police black people. They're not your kids.
I know they're not my kids, and I'm not trying to police.
Then why are you always concerned with how they look and all this wee stuff?
Fumbi, can I finish my point, please?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So as I was saying, in the same way that you were referring to, the O2 being a good look for us, you said it's not even like thank you white people. It's like this is good for us. It's good for those of us that enjoy the music. It's good for those of us that are part of the culture. I'm saying that even within that, we should be able to look at ourselves, those of us who enjoy the music, those of us who are part of the culture, and address some of the negatives amongst us without throwing our hands up in the air and saying, so we can do better, so that we don't, because I think it's a bit glib to look at a situation where where greatness has happened and be like, yeah, this was great for us, this was great for the culture, this was great for Afro beats and so on, and then see an absolute madness and be like, oh, why has it always got to be us? Why is this our narrative? Why are you trying to paint all the black people? That's not what it was.
Want to do, though. That's what you want to do. If you want to do that, go and do that. When are you going to start doing? What are you going to have? Hand out survey papers after the concert? Did you enjoy it? Did you think black people should have behaved? I don't understand what is this behavior control? Whether you like it or not, society has some fucked up shit and some good shit, and sometimes they meet. Okay, would in an ideal world, would I love it that the O2? By the way, it was your concert that I heard people rush the building. He's been there for 2 nights already now, right?
No, it was first night.
First night. So first night was the other night.
It was last night. That's when I was there.
There was another? I think there was another night before.
Oh, there was like a pre-show. He did like a smaller show.
Right. So there. So I didn't hear anyone rush the venue there. The first show was last night. Okay, you said people rushed the venue. But my point is this. Whether people rush the venue or not, it's irrelevant to how this we thing that people talk about. There is no we, okay? Black people don't meet up and discuss our futures. We just live our lives. So for you to now say we should reflect, no, it's just idle conversation on Twitter. You don't even know the people that stormed the room. So don't even worry about that. We can't keep worrying about how somebody makes us look. It just doesn't make any sense.
It's not even just about how they make us look, though. It's not even just about how they make us look. You know, like, do you know when people, and I'm obviously saying this, I'm the one being the voice for this part, but I know I'm not the only one. But I know that when people want to have nice things, and they complain that like, oh, what's going on, man? Why do you can't take these N words anywhere? Blah blah blah. I know that there's a deeper frustration because there's an element to which we want to see a certain amount of uh, cohesive group elevation. And when you see an element of the culture or the community or whatever it is that you belong to behaving in a way that's counterproductive, there is a frustration in you because it does require everybody to kind of be on side and behave themselves in order for nice things to
Nobody
happen.
hired you though. Nobody asked you to do it.
Of
Nobody
course,
hired
nobody has to ask you to. That's the thing about it. It's like if we all go to
you.
if we all go to, let's say, get on a plane, for example, everybody on that plane has to follow a certain amount of protocol for us to have the safest possible journey. One person deciding that they want to smoke in the toilets can affect everybody in there. So
Yeah,
if you say, look, if let's say one of your guys, you're going on a lad's holiday, one of your guys goes and smokes in the toilet, and you're like, hey brother, this is a madness. Like, oh, see, why are you always blaming it? Why has it got to be all of that about black people? Look at blah blah blah. It's like, no, hold on a second, bro. This is destructive for
That's
everybody.
not a black people's decision. That was his decision. If he
I
wants
kn-
to start smoking in the toilet, I'm not going to say this is why you can't take black people anywhere. This is why you can't take him anywhere.
exactly.
I don't go on holiday, but you're saying we need to have a discussion. Who's we?
I'm saying the same we that this was good for, that you referred to as we, this was
I
good
say it's a
for
good look for Africans in the sense that we get to
for
go to
us.
a concert. Yeah, for
Mm,
Africans who gets to go to a concert and
yeah,
enjoy music that of Wizkid that we like to see if someone was going to see U2 and stuff like that.
yeah.
But it
That's the
doesn't now
exact same
mean
way.
it
That's the
doesn't
exact
now
same way.
mean it doesn't now mean we now get to say we're not together there. I didn't go there with everyone. And when I say it's a good look for Thingy, I mean it's a good look in the sense where Wizkid has brought the music to this level, not on no elevation of blackness. This has got nothing to do with black. This has got everything to do with the
I'm not
music
even saying
and
it's
the
anything
culture.
to do with black. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying that.
Because you said you said black people stormed the thing. That's what you said. So it's now become a black thing.
Wait, no. That was not my emphasis, though. That was not my point. I said these Negroes, but the point was not the emphasis on them being black. The point was that these people who are part of the people that enjoy the Kid and so on decided that this event, how they were going to contribute, was by rushing the room.
I told you it was a working class mentality, a mentality from poverty, not a mentality
Yeah.
from blackness.
I don't think it's a poverty. I don't think it's a blackness thing, and I don't think it's even a working class thing. I just think
from poverty. It's a mentality from poverty, because only people from those areas will storm a concert like that. You would never get middle class, educated people bum rushing a concert. They just wouldn't do that. It's just not their class, it's not how they're raised. So it's definitely a working class mentality. The same when you go to football games, you hear people yelling "cunt" every 5 minutes. You don't hear that at Wimbledon. You don't even hear that at rugby.
How can you get if it's an affectation of being working class? Why do you get so many well-behaved, perfectly reasonable working class human beings?
Because some people have good families. Some people raise their kids in that environment.
Exactly. So it's probably a function of poor home training more than it is about working class.
Okay, but I said it's a mentality of poverty coming from that poverty.
But I'm saying that even with poverty, there are people who are in poverty but have good home training. There are people that even if they've grown up,
there are people who are rich who touch little kids.
That's my point. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's nothing to do with how much money they have.
When you're talking about people that will storm a concert,
yes,
okay, you're saying they're innately bad.
No, I'm not saying they're innately bad.
So what are you saying then?
I'm saying that there's an element to which there's a poor behavior that is found within those who have no home training.
Where do you think that stems from?
I think that stems from a cultural lax attitude to these people when they come to these events. We're constantly just looking at it like, oh, it's a bit of a banter, it's a bit of a story to tell afterwards.
We though? Who's we? Who?
The same we that we've been talking about the entire time. Like you said, for example, that when you guys rush Choice Weekend,
yeah,
it was just banter for later on, right?
Who's we? I said my boys rush Choice Weekend.
Yes.
Who's we?
I'm saying those of us who would go to the O2 to go and watch Afro.
Dance around the concert. Who's we? Is it Stefan? Is it? Who's we? When you say we, what are you talking about?
I just answered you, bro.
No, you didn't. You just said those kind of.
I said those of us who go to the O2 to go and watch Afro beats to go and watch
Everybody goes
his
to
kids.
watch Afrobeats. There was
No,
plenty
they
of
don't.
people there.
No,
There's
they
plenty of
don't.
black people there.
I didn't say it was about white people.
So they won't say,
You're the one who keeps saying about black and white. I'm not saying that.
You said it was black people. The first thing you said, I bet you if you show me the videos, you know it was a bunch of black people.
Yeah, it was, but I'm not blaming their blackness.
Dance around it now because of what's it called, the color aspect. Because whether you like it or not, you still think that black people, it's an image thing. That no. Like this is ruining that. That's how it sounds to me.
No, I made a joke that they're gonna bring armed guards for David Doe, but I made a joke that they're gonna bring armed guards for David Doe. But the whole point is,
so it is black people. Why?
It's you just said white people show up for these things, so it's not about black people.
But you highlighted black people.
I said Negroes as a colloquialism because I try not to say niggers as much. But if I was just said niggers rush the venue, but it wasn't really about them being black. It was just more about the mentality of people who go to a venue and say, you know what, I don't care about decorum.
It is about being black because you then gave an example of us going to JD to steal trainers.
Because I don't believe that's about being black either because I was black and I didn't go to JD.
All of these incidents are starring who?
Niggers. Let me say it. Niggers. I'm saying niggers. People with who have no home training and poor attitudes and behaviors. I'm not saying it about black people because there are plenty of black people who don't.
Black people. Every incident you've picked out is a black person.
No, I was very clear on the fact that I don't believe that this was an issue of working class.
Wait. And you said security as Davido.
Wait. So hold on a second, right? Wait, because this is getting to the point where you're not even listening anymore. You're just listening to respond. Hey, listen to what I'm saying to understand what I'm saying. When I made the joke about them bringing the armed guards for David Doe, for David Doe, is because I said to you, and we made the same joke. Remember this? You made the joke, and I made it. I said
talking about black people.
This nigga here, bro. When I said to you that I made the same joke yesterday. What was the joke that you made?
You said it was not Skepta.
Exactly. Yeah. The idea was that you can bring the same people, but different artists is a different vibe, right? Yeah, so that's why I'm saying to you that when you bring a certain energy or whatever it is that comes with booking a certain artist, for example, it brings out a behavior trait that people adhere to and perfectly accept and just go, well, okay, this is gonna be very niggerish night. We're gonna do some very niggerish things.
And that's what I don't like. I don't like that. I don't like associating negativity with black. I don't like that.
Nobody has done that tonight except you.
You said nigger though. You just said nigger twice.
Yes, because niggerish things are You've called white people niggers all the time on this podcast.
No. I do not call white people niggers. You cannot tell the white person.
Fine. Please. Niggerish is not restricted to black. No, and it's also not. It does not indicative of black.
When you talk about 3 black events and say niggerish things and niggerish things are going to happen, I'm going to assume you're talking about niggers.
And that's your fault because assuming makes an ass out of you and me.
That these people don't do that at these events. What I'm saying is I don't like it when it's now used to define our stance as people. That's what I'm trying to get.
It's not our stance though. That's the thing.
But here's the thing. When you said niggers need to stop rushing the concerts, it's a shame. It's this, it's that. I've heard many times. Oh, the rights were good, but then some black people want to go and do this and da. It's that energy that I'm trying to stamp out. So wait, do you hate Chris Rock's black people versus niggers bit? No, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
They're one in the same because whether you like it or not, because they're one in the same. Because whether you like it or not, those same niggers you were talking about were the same people who carry the music, the same people who validate you who give you something to talk about. And understand what he was trying to do, trying to separate. What's it called? He was trying to, and here's the thing: he was trying to do that boule mentality where we chastise these people thinking they're anything different from us. Go and listen to Daniel Beatty's Journey to the Nigger in You poem when he talks about the dual personality. And these niggas love to act niggerish when it's time for them. They love to put on that I'm from the hood, I'm from Brooklyn when it's time. But when it's time for men to jump the concert, niggas need to start behaving. So the nigger versus black people thing, I don't think it aged well in my opinion because there's no difference between them. Because who's the nigger and who's the black people?
That's wild, man. That's wild. That's the wildest thing I ever heard from your mouth.
He said, like you said, you went to a cinema in Brooklyn and it was wild. But in his niggas versus thing, he chastised that experience. I got to bust a cap in here. When you know,
but nobody did that while I was there. Let me make that very clear.
It doesn't happen like that. Yes, one isolated incident, a nigga might have shot in the cinema, but on the whole scale, I guarantee you, black people will tell you, it's more lit in the cinema. The people don't shoot like that. Also, people don't talk about how people in the street don't actually like shit like that to happen to civilians. Don't shoot up the party. Tupac was saying on stage, y'all don't fight at the concert. He understands his people. I get it. We're stressed. Let's try and have a good time tonight. Sometimes you get left. It just happens. Carnival. I've been to these concerts where I'm whining on the girl and the man was getting bold next to me. I get the environment, but what I don't like is when people try and now define us for those moments.
But that's the thing. I'm not them. And to be honest, it's weird because if I say we when I'm talking about a collective in terms of who would enjoy going to a demographic that enjoys going to see WizKid or a demographic that enjoys going to Wireless, you're like, it's not we. And then you're like, we're all the same. They are us. And it's like,
when you said we, you meant black people, whether you like it or not, whether you want to believe that or not, because we were talking about, that's what I thought we were talking about. That's what I explained to you. I said, I said, I understand that, you know, it's the O2. That's why I said, if it's Stratford Rex, storm the venue. That's why I said that. Because I know man them will do that. But do it at Stratford Rex, not at the O2, because I know what the world is going to do. The same way when Bukayo Saka and Fingy and them started to take the penalty, we were like, I pray these men don't miss. Why? Because we know of the response when we fail. It becomes heightened. And that's my point. That when those things happen on those scales, it just becomes heightened. You can't take niggas anywhere. Even though 17,000 people had a great time, 2 people can ruin that. And that's my point. No matter how high you get, and no matter how well you do as a black person, it takes one person's bullshit to cancel all of you. Noel Clarke has stopped black filmmakers for another 10 years now.
Wow. I mean, that's...
And he didn't even make black movies.
That went left.
So what I'm saying is, I get your point. Of course, you don't want that to happen. But one thing I know in life, there's a chance that it could. And where it can happen, I guarantee you, majority of us are like, we don't like this. There was a club in New York called The Tunnel. I heard niggas used to go in there be like, they will give you raises. Yo, man. But people still went to the club, bro.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. That's the thing. I don't doubt that we enjoy the entertainment of a hood movie where everyone gets shot up, or we enjoy rap music, or we enjoy the clubs, or whatever it is. I don't doubt that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that at the end of the day, right, we all have a certain expectation of how we're going to function in a society, right? And so that's going to be different from society to society. Everyone's got their own culture and whatnot. But, you know, like maybe up north, they all wait in a queue for the bus. And so somebody comes in and just steps in front of the queue. To them, that's like, oh my goodness, they're throwing the whole thing off whack. For people who smoke, it's like puff, puff, give. And then you are sucking on the blunt for too long. And then all of a sudden, now you've violated the terms from within there. So for us, we have different contexts and we have different expectations of each other. And so when we put together something that seems like a good night, a monumental moment for a scene like Afrobeats, and it's going to be something that everybody is highly anticipated. Somebody bringing their negativity to it, even if they have grown up in poverty and disadvantage and underprivileged, there is no way in which we can just continue to say, they just 50 guys just decided to push through. It is what it is. After a while,
it is what it is.
After a while,
never gonna change. You've never seen an incident when they had the Hillsborough incident in Liverpool where people died at the game. People still rush the England game. People still rush the England game. That's human beings for you. They don't change. Like I keep telling you, human beings are overrated. You expect too much from them. When motherfucker's gonna chance the game, he's gonna chance the game. So you can lament on it and be like, oh, how can we clean this up? But it's never gonna change. How? How can it change? That's like saying we're gonna stop sexism. Like, you can't change these things. You can only hope for progression. And do I think we've progressed? Hell yeah. 17,000 people for WizKid. I've never seen that in my life. Hell yeah, niggas should rush the concert, but I just wish it was at Stratford Rex. Because my point is, That's just society. I've been to the Comedy Store. I'm doing the Comedy Store this weekend. Looking forward to it. But if a drunk, belligerent person now acts up in the show, oh, white people, man, can't take them nowhere. Nah, that's just that motherfucker there. How many times have you been on stage and a girl threw wine on you at the show and gave you the middle finger as she left?
Yeah.
Why? At a comedy show? Why?
Look, but she was clearly drunk. But like for
so?
me,
that's no excuse.
For me, I'm not saying it's an excuse. What I'm saying is that for me, when I see drunk women, I am definitely like, oh my goodness, this is clearly a huge negative for this show, because I know how belligerent drunk women can be at comedy shows.
Drunk women in general.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you now think women should now, put a lid on that? Like, if you brought that to women, what do you think their response would be?
I know that their response would be, for most people, negative, but I think for some people, they would go, do you know what? I can understand how not being able to control your alcohol and drinking to the point of excess is going to disrupt the show, and so we probably shouldn't have so much of that. But there's always going to be some reasonable people and some belligerent people in every group. But I'm just saying that we should be able to say, hold on a second, this is not acceptable for the environment we're trying to create here as a comedy club. We don't need...
But that's when you have security that throw those people out. That's when you have police who highlight those people. What I'm saying is, it's not our job. Well, let me put it to me. I grew up in a world where being black, you had to do everything in your power to destroy that image. That image that was not created by you, that is not true about you. But you had to do everything to diffuse it. I go into a job interview, I have to smile. I walk into a store, I have to walk out with my hands up so they don't think I'm stealing.
Yeah.
I'm driving a car. I have to make sure everything is legit so the police don't pull me over. I can't play my music loud because I don't want to get pulled over. I'm having to do all of those things to diffuse that, even though I didn't create that. Then I got tired of that. And I got tired of judging black people when they did that. Come on, man. Who am I doing it for? Especially when I realized human beings are trash. So I don't need to be good for anybody. And when I say I don't need to be good, what I mean is I've come to a place, for me, when I see shit like that, I don't put it down to blackness anymore. And I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying I don't look at it from an angle of this great utopia society we're creating. Because one thing I know is this: we are not creating a utopia society. We are creating a society that we're going to end up killing each other. That's what we're going to. We're going to a society where we hate each other. So there's no worry about this one day we're going to be singing Kumbaya and lighting fires by the camp. That's all fantasy. You want to see a world like that? Turn on Netflix. The real world is bullshit. Absolute bullshit.